One of the biggest complaints women often have about men is that we're not embodied enough. Have you ever heard a woman say, "You're too in your head," or "I can't feel you"? Well, understanding what's going on in those moments and how to be more embodied can be huge for us as men. And not just to connect more deeply with women, but also to have more access to our vitality and our creativity and our power. What's up, you amazing human? My name is Ben Hart. In today's video, we'll be talking about men becoming more embodied. I know this one well. It's something I work with all the time and thought about for many, many years. I've had a lot of reflections around and notice it in the world around me all the time. And so I'm going to offer some very simple tips for you men for being more embodied. And then I'm also just going to share kind of a tradition from spiritual traditions perspective on what's going on sometimes around this, such that we can have just a different context for how we think about what's going on in with men and women and with reality in general when we think about embodiment and why we might not be embodied and why we might want to be more embodied. So to begin, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's so many times when a woman might say to a man, "Oh, I can't feel you," or, "You're so up in your head," or "Where are you? Like, get in your body." And, that's something that a lot of men struggle with. A lot of men struggle with, like, understanding what that even means at first. Like, what do you mean in your body? Here I am, I'm in my body. And then as they, begin to become aware, we begin to become aware of, oh, wow, I'm not fully in my body in the way that I could be. It becomes this, ongoing journey of, okay, what is it to really be in our body, really feel our feelings, really be in the sensations of what's going on for us. And so there's a lot that we can unpack there. But what I want to just point out, for those of you who may not fully relate to this, or those of you who feel like you're in your body, just relate to or connect to how often we're up in our thoughts. I actually think of it as being up. We're up in our mind. Our energy is all here. We're thinking about abstract ideas. We're doing calculations. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about the past. There's so much that's happening in our mental mind, in our mental body, where we are working through ideas and thoughts and projections and all these different things. And with that, our energy is very much here. When you look at so many men, we are living in our minds. So many men are cut off from their bodies. And as we become more connected to our body, we begin to see it more in people around us. So notice what it is to be in your mind, and then begin to move down into your body. Actually moving down with your conscious awareness and feeling what's going on. Feeling what's happening here in your heart, what's happening here in your chest. What sensations are there? What tightness is there? What pleasure might be there? What numbness might be there? Even being aware of numbness, which is kind of the first piece of being embodied, is noticing, wow, I'm actually numb throughout much of my body. For me, it was really noticing wow, I can't really feel a lot going on in my chest or my belly. It's actually not a lot of sensation. And so just being with the numbness. So my invitation is to begin to come down into the body, come down into the chest, come down into the belly. Feel your breath moving your belly in and out, moving your chest up and down. Feel what it feels like as you just are with what is happening. And come down even further, come down into your balls, come down all the way through your legs into your feet. Feel that whole channel, chest, heart, belly, balls, feet. Feel your whole body and begin to just be with the sensations. Because it's so easy to just be up here, almost looking down from up here, thinking about, well, I think my belly is feeling this, or I think my feet are in this place, but actually go down into them. You can fully merge with what is actually happening in your body and be there, feeling the sensations, feeling the feelings, and in that you become embodied. You are in the body, having the body's experience, fully engaged with what is happening in your whole being. So it's a constant practice of coming down into the body, because it really is a coming down. We are up here so much of the time, and we come down into all that is happening within us, and then we be with it. And what you can notice over time is if you are actually with your belly, and with your chest, with your balls, with your feet, with your whole being, you begin to feel the world around you differently. It's not just witnessing it. It's not just viewing it from your mind. It's actually feeling it. You begin to feel so much more. And that's what women really are asking for. So many, I'm going to generalize a bit. Like, men tend to be much more in our heads, and women tend to be much more in their bodies than us. And certainly there's men who are much more in their bodies and women who are much more in their heads, for sure. But as a general rule, women tend to be so much more embodied. And with that, they are feeling their whole body, and through their body, they're feeling everyone else. And so when they feel you, and you're not in this at all, it's like you're absent. It's like you're gone. You're living up here in thought land, in the mental plane, which is a beautiful thing for sure. But if someone's feeling you embodied through their body and you're not in your body, they're not going to feel you. Like, there's nothing there to feel. There's no consciousness pervading the body that they're connecting with. And so the invitation is to notice when you're with women especially, but all the time, with every human, with just yourself. Where are you actually in your system? And you can be in your body. You can still have thoughts and be a human having normal communication while you're feeling your body. And in fact, so much more will come online as you are in your body. I mentioned more vitality, more creativity, more power, because when we're just operating from our mental mind, we actually aren't connected to all of our intelligence. There's so much intelligence that happens through the body. There's so much intuition that happens. There's so much energy. There's so much power, raw power, primal power that happens, that is accessed through our body, that's not available when we're just living up here all the time. And so much of the time when women are like, I can't feel you, or even when women are not attracted to a man, it's because there's no connection to the body. There's no connection to the primal energy. There's no connection to everything that can move through and all the channels that are available when we get down in our body. So the invitation, the practice is to continually come down. Notice when you might be just up here and bring yourself down. What's going on in my chest? What's going on in my belly? Feel your balls, feel your whole hip girdle, feel your legs, feel your feet on the ground often. Let your consciousness go all the way down to your feet on the ground. And that will allow you to be more in your body and just be with that. Be with what's going on. And one of the reasons it's often hard for us as men is because there's pain. There's wounding, there's emotional hurt, there's trauma. There's so much going on that gets stored in our body that we often want to disconnect from. Now, even the simplest thing is just like being anxious about your career. It can bring up a lot of feelings in the body, and we bounce out, and we are trying to figure it out from here, distracting ourselves from it from up here. When we come down into it, we actually have to feel it. We actually have to be with what the body is experiencing, what our nervous system is experiencing, which might be terror, which might be anxiety, we might want to run away. So much. But coming down to the body allows us to begin to meet those things, allows us to begin to unwind those patterns, those places of stuckness that might be holding us back from actually being able to move forward in our lives. And as we come down and feel those things, insights can pop, new energies, new creativity, new intuitions may emerge. We are a whole system being, and we can't just be up here, in accessing all that's going on in us. We feel so much more, we open up to so much more, and we access so much more. So I mentioned the spiritual tradition piece. I just want to name this piece around masculine and feminine energies, and this doesn't work for everyone, but it certainly works for some people. And I think it's a powerful way to think about this is, when you think about any moment, when you think about reality, right now in this moment, there is everything that is happening in form. There is my voice that you're hearing. There is the colors that you see on the screen and beyond your screen. There's the screen you're looking at. There's everything that is happening right now. And then there's everything that's happening, and then there is witnessing what is happening. There is awareness of what is happening. And in so many traditions, you can think of that as the feminine and the masculine. The feminine being the world of form, manifest reality, light, sound, shape, all of these form, manifest reality dancing in front of you. That is the feminine. And then what is witnessing that is the masculine, the all-pervading consciousness that is just here, the stillness, the emptiness, the void, that is the counter to that is watching and seeing all of manifest reality happening. And right now, you are the masculine and the feminine. There is manifest reality, there is you, your body, the manifest of you, the feminine of you, and there is the witness, there is the masculine, there is the consciousness of all of this happening. And what I want to invite you to see is sometimes, what a lot of traditions talk about is certain beings, we tend to be identified more with form or consciousness. And many men tend to be much more identified with consciousness. We're much more comfortable like sitting back in the witness. We're much more comfortable in like, okay, awareness, okay, mental body, okay, like, because in our minds, in our consciousness, we can go anywhere. Like I can go have a picnic on Mars right now in my mind, like in my mental body. Like consciousness can go anywhere in that way. And we become much more comfortable with living in that realm, living in the witness and living in just, the pure awareness and also thought forms. And thought forms, as we begin to create thought, as I think of like the picnic on Mars, it's me witnessing the feminine happening, which is the actual thought forms. But we become much more engaged with and identified with the awareness, whereas a lot more women are identified with the feminine, which are identified with the shape and the light and the flow of energy and the beauty of the dance of all that is happening. And with that, with all that is happening in the body, with feelings, with emotions, with all of it. And so as men, we often just want to stay identified with the witness and not get down into, the muck, what it can sometimes feel like, the like chaos of all that is happening in our body and all that's happening in the world. And so the invitation is to see it as like, okay, like here I am identified with my masculine side, with consciousness. And what is it to actually bring my masculine to meet the feminine, to meet my feminine, to meet your own feminine internally. As your consciousness comes down to the body, it's your masculine meeting your feminine. It's almost like inner lovemaking, for lack of a better term. Like it's the beauty of those two parts of you merging. When you fully can bring your consciousness into your feminine, into your body, into your sensations, and then as that happens, your consciousness can pervade all reality more deeply. Your consciousness can pervade the women, like your lover, more deeply. You can truly allow yourself to engage with, to penetrate, to love, to connect with. And it's really this, like, I think it's been a really powerful context to create of like, oh wow, the internal meeting of the masculine and feminine, the internal like actual intimacy, actual lovemaking of bringing your awareness down into all that you are, into all that you feel, into all that is here, opens up so much both in yourself and in your relationship to reality and in your relationship to other people. You begin to see that, all that is happening is consciousness and form meeting all the time. And it's so easy to want to separate those things and kind of step back and watch form do its thing. But when we can fully bring ourselves in, bring consciousness in, meet it with form, magic can happen. So much more intimacy can happen, so much more miracles can happen, so much more power and vitality and energy and creativity, and just so much gets unlocked. So there's a lot there, but I think it's really powerful to feel that part of yourself as often going into the consciousness and going into the awareness, going into the masculine, disconnecting from the feminine internally, and what it is to bring yourself into your own feminine that then allows you to meet a feminine being, or any being. If a feminine being is telling you, I can't feel you, notice where you disconnected from your own internal feminine, meaning your own internal being, your own internal form, your own internal sensations and feelings, all of that, emotions. So again, simple practice, bring it back to the simplicity, is to just throughout your day, bring yourself down into your body. Feel your heart, feel your chest, feel your belly. If you don't feel anything, feel the numbness. Just be with the sense of, wow, there doesn't feel like there's anything here. I can't feel anything. Be with that. Just hold that. Like wrap your arms around the feeling of nothingness and let it thaw out, because it will thaw out. Numbness does not last if you actually let yourself be with it. Sensations will arrive. Pleasure will arrive. Pain may arrive. All so much more can open up as you actually bring yourself down into feeling through your chest, through your belly, through your balls, through your legs, down into your feet. Feel the whole system as much as you can throughout the day, and especially when you're with other people. Notice what it's like to feel other people and reality around you through your body, not just through your mind. It will lead to amazing things both in your relationships with women, with our relationships with everyone, and your relationship to yourself. So much more of who you are, what you actually feel, what your authenticity is, what your power is, will become unlocked as you do this. More embodiment for all of us. And again, I'll just say, I'm super on this journey. This is not something I have mastered by any means. I am teaching to learn it. I am sharing to learn it, because it is something that I am constantly working with. So I hope it serves you. If you dig this video and want to see more like it in the future, hit the subscribe button below. And if there's anybody out there you think might benefit from this video, hit the like button, leave a comment. It'll help them find it. Until next time, much love.